Hey, this is Kirk Hilliard.
And this is Rusty Brown at the Kirk and Byrd Show. We got a special treat for you all tonight. A preview of one of the biggest games in the state this weekend, coming up in the state semifinals, Class 4, the King George versus Phoebus matchup. These are two teams that are 13-0, and this could be the two best teams in Class 4 already meeting. Okay, this could be the state championship. Not to disregard the other side of the bracket, but this is going to be a great matchup. And we've got two experts in the area. We got my homeboy, Skip Perry, Phoebus alum. He played football at Tuskegee. He's a retired Marine officer, has coached at Phoebus. He's a football referee, and he just knows the game and really knows his stuff when it comes to Phoebus, the Peninsula District, and high school football. Welcome to the show, Skip.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I'll joke you for being a phantom later. All right. And then we've got with us Christion Abrams, and he's from the 540. And for y'all that's not familiar, that's where King George is based, in the 540, where there's a crazy amount of talent and great teams. Teaches at North Stafford, but he's on the coaching staff at Mountain View, and he knows a lot about 540 athletes and teams, and we really want to promote what he's doing because 540 has got crazy great things going on there. I got cousins down there. He's going to break that down, at least from the King George perspective today, but we're going to have him back to just talk about all the great things going on in Central Virginia. Welcome to the show, Christion.
Sure, for sure. Thank you. Glad to be here. Sure.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Kirk, why don't you tell folks where they can find us?
Yes, thank you. If everybody could please subscribe to us on YouTube and then also follow us on Twitter at the Kirk and Byrd. And then we're on a bunch of other platforms. For the folks down at King George County, east of Fredericksburg, join our 703-540 sports high school sports page on Facebook. We're putting more and more content out and getting more new members. And I was also going to say, Rusty, for anybody out there at Tuscarora and Leesburg, as well as Salem and Southwest Virginia, you may want to pay attention to this big matchup. King George is going down to Darling Stadium on Saturday.
But we're going to take about a minute or two for you guys to tell us a little bit about your background, and each of you then explain a little bit about the programs you know the most about. So we'll start with you, Skip. You've been on the show before. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about how you carried the water jugs at Phoebus back in the day, and you got crushed by this great fullback from Bethel.
As long as I remember my senior year, we beat y'all.
I know, man.
First time ever.
First time.
And y'all haven't beat us since.
Nope.
The past 40 years. Y'all
37 years.
No.
We had
Iverson's team.
Iverson beat y'all.
No, he didn't.
We won the state championship.
Hold on, no. Skip knows what he's talking about.
He lost to Phoebus that year.
Wow.
That year, but the year before we were undefeated. His sophomore year we were 10-0, but lost in the playoffs. His junior year we won state. All right, so we know last time. We know we beat y'all at least once.
So the past 30 years.
30, 10, 5, whatever.
Okay, well, myself, I started coaching at Phoebus in 2001 when I came back from Afghanistan. Got stationed down here. Coach D took pity on me. I guess I still had that deployed far away look, so he brought me in and let me get with the kids and start coaching. Was there until 2012. In between my deployments and PCS and moving and coming back, he always kept me on the staff. So I could always come back and get back into coaching. Coaching with Coach D, he also helped me get into coaching in the military, where the Marine Corps has 11-on-11 football league. So I coached there, won 2 base championships at Lejeune and at Pendleton. So
okay.
And so as far as Phoebus this year, from what I've seen, they are peaking at the right time. Offensively, even with the kid that got hurt, the quarterback, the freshman that's in there now, Rick,
Marcus
is a baller. Yes, Marcus is a baller. I watched him last year on the JV and this year on the JV, and I was thoroughly impressed with his leadership and his poise. I was even more impressed this weekend when I watched him start against Warhill, who I didn't think they were going to have too much trouble out of Warhill, but I thought Warhill was going to present some problems for them that they weren't used to.
Mm-hmm.
But that offense is starting to come around. It's starting to peak now. They're peaking at the right time. And I think they're going to be trouble for anybody else that they have to see from here on out, because everything is starting to come together. The defense, which was already top notch, everybody knows your defense always always peaks before your offense, because defense is basically reacting. See football, go get football. Pretty simple. For offense, you got to get your timing down. You're starting to get the timing down. I was impressed because it didn't look like they skipped a beat when Adonis went down. So they are offensively, they're peaking at the right time. Special teams is always special at Phoebus. We rep it 45 minutes every day at practice. They've scored a lot of special teams touchdowns this year. That's their X factor. Their 2 returners. I can't remember number 4's name, but in number 2,
Kamari Gray's one of them, man. He's really
Kamari, the Gray's kid, is special. He's short in stature, but that boy got wheels. And
by the way, it might be Keontae. There's
Keontae Gray.
Sorry about that, Keontae.
He's not afraid to stick it up in there for his size. He's tough, and he's not afraid of anything, anybody, anytime. That's the special teams, I think, will be the X factor. Punt return, kickoff return, and extra points and kickoffs.
That's what I was going to say. A lot of people say, "Oh, we work on special teams," but they may not actually. And I'll say, if, for example, Freedom High School, great athletes, great teams, but for the last couple of years, they haven't had a kicking game, meaning no real punter and nobody really that can kick. They could kick some extra points, but never field goals, and so that potentially can hurt them in a closer game. But if you're saying the kicking, not just the return game, but the kicking game is strong, that's good
strong
too.
Also, yes. Okay. They've got a kid from Morocco who played soccer, and he's decent.
And that's what you do. Okay.
Yeah. Right, 30 yards out, he's going to get you 3 points.
Skip, I want to ask you about the defensive line and the Black Ops defense. But before I do that, do you think there's been noticeable changes with the change in quarterbacks, the change in personnel, the freshmen coming in? In other words, is Phoebus passing the ball more? Are they running the quarterback more? How's that affected Phoebus?
From what I saw last week, in the Hampton game, the second half, they're still calling the same plays that they would usually call with Adonis. So the play calling has not changed one bit.
Right.
Then that offensive line they're peaking at the right time. I watched them. Their hand placement is good. They're not they're running their feet like they're taught. So that offensive line, they're mauling people now. They are getting after you in the run game, in the pass game. They're holding their own. They're holding their blocks, letting the freshmen, giving the freshmen clear lanes to get the ball off. So. But, that offense is peaking at the right time. As far as that defense, I can't do nothing but smile when I see the defense, because that front 7 with Marcus and Travion and Riddick, and I call him my little man-child back there, number 10. They are a hyper-aggressive group. They're a see ball, get ball type of, everybody to the ball, 11 hats to the ball type of defense. And you're going to have to deal with Riddick and Travion and Marcus pushing that front, pushing that middle. That pass rush is something special. I think some D3 teams would have a problem dealing with that pass rush that they have right now.
Yeah. Now,
go ahead.
We did a little preview of the game. We'll be releasing that probably tomorrow. And one of the things I mentioned, though, and I know the freshman quarterback is now established and playing, is the defense has without a doubt been great. The offense has played well against the Peninsula District teams because, well, the Peninsula District is really down. All right. And I think that sometimes, even with work, I mentioned this, it was like we talked about you all having great defenses, only allowing 7 and 8 points going into your matchup. But I mean, we if you look at the team, the Peninsula is just down. I won't even get into that. So you scored big points against some of those teams, and you scored 104 against some really bad Jamestown, a bunch of people that just came over on the Mayflower, whatever. But my concern is this: even with this young quarterback kind of getting it going, King George, and we'll let Christian explain this next, scores a lot of points. You have a great defense, but they've played some good teams. Can you keep up if they start scoring? And so that would be I'll let you say your piece, and then we'll let Christian go ahead and then talk about King George. Does that concern you anyway? Because this team consistently, now you guys are gonna have a great pass rush. You're gonna put the pressure on, but if they are scoring, if they get up by 2 touchdowns, are you in trouble? That's all. No. That's all they want. Okay.
I don't think we are. If they get up by 2 touchdowns, I think that freshman is poised enough to bring him back. And he has a lot of upperclassmen around him to help him.
Okay.
To bring him along, keeping him focused, especially that offensive line, 55 and Marcus. Those kids are all seniors, and they've been in the fire before, so they will be able to bring him along. Those are the kids that got blown out as sophomores at Oscar Smith.
At Oscar Smith, yeah.
So
okay.
They know.
I got a question before we go to Christian. And Christian, you're going to touch on this because everybody's probably thinking this already. And that is, this is probably the best pair of wideouts with Chance Wiggins and Mekhi White the state has seen in a long time. And those are big receivers. Skip, my question is that if you put up one of these guys that are, both 6'3", big guys that can have a huge catch radius, is Keontae Gray and Rico Underwood, are they going to be able to handle that? Because we know King George is going to those guys.
Oh, yeah. I think, especially Rico. I think Rico is a savvy corner.
Yep.
He's seen a lot, and I think he can handle whatever anybody throws at him at this point. And Keontae, even like I said, even though he's small in stature, he has a fight in him that he's not going to let you just come over here and just, as they say on ESPN, moss him to death. So
okay.
You're not going to let that happen. You might get one, but you ain't going to get it.
I will tell you, Skip, just like I said on our show last night, it's coming out and said, Jordan Bass ain't walking through that door. Okay.
No. And we know that.
And he was a beast the last 3 years. Just a true PD legend. All right. But okay, if you say those guys can do it, Christian, go ahead and tell us.
I was going to say, Fredericksburg wants to hear from Christian.
No. Hampton Rose wants to hear from Christian. Fredericksburg already know about these brothers. All right. So go ahead on, tell us a little bit about King George, the talent they have, and what you think that what are maybe some of their strengths, weaknesses, but what you think they can do to beat Phoebus. And I've been on this King George kick for a couple of years now. My son, who played 7-on-7 at Colgan and Bishop Ireton, I remember him playing them one summer, playing against King George, and my son's a defensive back, and he's playing college ball now, but he was trying to check them, and I'm like, okay, like I wasn't even mad. Like, right. I was like, they do that to everybody. Yep. My son's up there, no, I'm gonna get him, I'm gonna stop. And they pushing each other, and they talking stuff, and I was like, it's not you, believe me. But go ahead.
Yeah, not to give too much history about King George. This is a program that's really they take one step, and then the next year they just make the next step. That's basically what they've done since Coach Lunsford's been there. I think since the 2018 season, they've just gotten better and better. And one thing that they've done really good is they've, unless they're playing the soon-to-be champions, they're one of the toughest teams to stop. A couple of years ago, played Varina, lost to Varina. Varina wins the state championship.
Yep.
Last year, played Dinwiddie. Lost to Dinwiddie. They win the state championship. And then this year, they've gotten their get-back kind of on both of those teams back-to-back. And now I'll say it's their biggest test yet. Obviously, everybody knows, Chance Wiggins, Mekhi White. Those are the obvious names. Of course, Jack Pearson, who's throwing the ball. This kid's got 45 touchdowns this season, only 5 interceptions. He's almost thrown for 3,000 yards. King George, they kind of do a dual running back type thing. They have 2 really good ones who look, one of them, Charles Johnson, he also plays linebacker, 6'2", 220. This kid, I mean, when he gets the football, he's hard to bring down. The other kid, Dylan Truxon, he's a real fast type kid. He's going to take it to the outside. Real good at that. As far as defense is concerned, it's really the same type of dudes. They're just on defense. So, like I just told you, Charles Johnson, he's a really good linebacker. He's in the playing linebacker with his guy, Jamari Cox, who's a senior. And that's another thing about this King George team. When you look at their roster, I mean, those guys, obviously White, Wiggins, but all those guys are seniors. Most of those guys are seniors. So this is an experienced group. They haven't been as far as the state championship clearly, but they played state championship teams. And I would argue that if you look at Varina's schedule, I know that they probably played Highland Springs that year. They won the state championship. So that was probably their toughest opponent that year. But I know King George gave them a good game. And I know Dinwiddie, the Dinwiddie game last year was for sure Dinwiddie's toughest game. So it's going to be a really good football game. I'm really excited to see it. It's offense versus defense in terms of what this matchup will be. I will say King George's defense, they scare me a little bit. They've given up some points there. If you look at their their schedule, they've given up 20 a couple times, but they looked really good last week against Varina. They caused some turnovers, and I thought that they won the game by 10 points, and Varina's a really good team, obviously, but King George had opportunities to build a bigger lead than the one that they had. They pretty much had a 10-point lead the entire game. But special teams, they have a great kicker. His name is Max Lipinski. He's a guy off. I don't know if he has many offers, but I know he's got a lot of interest from big schools, but he's on the money. He kicks, he punts, he puts it deep in other people's territories. And like I said, they have the dudes on defense, but offense is obviously the specialty of this team. And when you have a bunch of two-way guys, I think that the focus, they're more crisp on offense, but then they need to buckle down on defense. I mean, at the end of the day, you still have D1 guys like Mekhi White, Chance Wiggins, who are playing on that defense. It's just a matter of
what are they playing, Christian? Are they playing corner or DB?
So Wiggins is in the secondary, and then Mekhi White, he's playing an outside linebacker type, I believe. Yeah. And then up front, they have this other guy, defensive lineman Alex Rollercut, really underrated guy, but he's real good too. Really causes problems on the interior side of the defensive line for all the King George's opponents.
The question I want to ask, and I think Phoebus people are wondering this, is has King George faced a very good line, especially on the edge? This is the 2 best defensive ends in the state with Tayshawn Stevenson and Trey Reddick, and the middle is awfully good too. So that's what I'm thinking is like pressure that quarterback. How King George with that?
I'll say in terms of opponents who they've played, the best line, they probably in their regular season game schedule definitely haven't played a line as good as what Phoebus will bring. The closest thing to what King George may have seen to a defensive line as good as Phoebus is way back in their second scrimmage against Mountain View. That's it.
Yeah, Varina's got.
For those Christian coaches at Mountain View, and they have one of the best defensive players in the country, but in right there at Mountain View. So I didn't realize they had scrimmaged. Guys.
Second scrimmage of the year. Yep.
Okay.
Real quick before we start going into, we want to transition and roll towards closing this out. I wanted to ask, and we want to get both of your opinion on what you think keys of the game are. But before any health issues? How we doing as far as that goes, Christian?
Look for King George is looking good. All the main guys are healthy. Jack's healthy. Receivers are healthy. Those running backs I mentioned all healthy. Yeah.
Skip. Phoebus,
they came out of the last game pretty healthy. Everybody was healthy, so they were up big the whole game. So they started subbing the 2s in late in the third quarter. So
they didn't have to play in the first playoff game too much. So We won't even get into that one on this show.
So, obviously, King George is confident. They beat a good Dinwiddie team. They beat Varina, and they are a good team. So my thing for you, Christian, is okay. Come Sunday, if King George beats Phoebus and advances to the state championship to play the winner of Tuscarora Salem, what do you think the keys to the game are? Christian, they've been watching film. What is it that King George will do to win this game?
I think what is real important for King George is can't make any mistakes, and they've done a good job of that through this point. Like I said, quarterback's only thrown 5 interceptions. When you're playing against a defense like Phoebus, that's what they're feeding off of. They're feeding off of shutting down those receivers. Every single time that they get a turnover, you're gonna feel them, especially the game's gonna be down in Hampton. So every time that they feel like, hey, we're shutting these guys down, we're making plays. It's about King George. Hey, we have the guys. Let's just be smart, get it to those guys. Don't panic if things go the wrong way, because there hasn't been too many games this year where King George has been in a tight spot. Even Varina last week, they led that game all the way through. So it's about responding to tough situations. That's what it would be about.
Real quick, what about personnel, though? We know mistakes are key, but what about personnel? I mean,
I think they trust. Obviously, they're a good passing, good throwing ball, good passing team with Jack Pearson, but trusting to run with those 2 running backs, like I said before, Charles Johnson and Dylan Trudson. I think that in terms of Johnson, in terms of him being more of the pounder, kind of a physical running back, doing that throughout the course of a game, sending that at those guys, I think that would really make a difference maker if they're able to get it going in the running game, for sure. Yeah.
All right. So, okay, that's great stuff. We are going to come back at the very end and ask everybody their prediction for the game. All right. So, and it doesn't have to be that you pick just because this is the team you analyze or you've played for or whatever, who you really think is going to win. And Skip, why don't you tell us the keys to the game for Phoebus to advance to the state final at Class 4?
Their keys to the game is going to be, to me, ball possession. If we can keep sustained drives, long drives, keeping their offense off the field and limiting their possessions, that will be key for Phoebus to win. We can't have any turnovers, no stupid penalties, no stupid mistakes, because penalties are drive killers. And we have to play Phoebus ball. We have to be physical at the point of attack. We have to make sure that we are sound in our schemes offensively and sound in our schemes defensively. If we do that, I feel that Phoebus will come out with a victory. But the 2 receivers, they do scare me because of their size, and their athletic ability, because I have watched a little bit of film on them, and they can run. So we've never faced that type of. I think the closest we've faced is Heritage, and they had a receiver that's like 6'2", but they shut him down pretty handily because he couldn't get the ball. The quarterback from Heritage couldn't get the ball out. So,
right.
The one thing that kind of concerns me with both teams, because they've been so dominant over the years, and I want to get both your opinions, is if the other team goes up, and we talked about, if they go up by 3 scores, not just the kids, but do you think these coaching staffs can hold it together? Because now we know 15, 16, 17-year-olds, anything can happen. All right. And these are programs that are not only not used to losing, but not used to being beat. And I'm going to tell you, and the reason I bring this up is Battlefield, okay, who I've covered a couple times up here, was undefeated, beat some really good teams. In fact, they beat your Mountain View squad, right?
Yep.
Undefeated, but when Freedom went up on them like bam, 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 it was a wrap. It was a wrap. And normally I thought Battlefield would have given them a good game because they're well coached. Those kids are strong, they're experienced, and they were the last team to actually beat Freedom 2 years ago. All right. So I guess my point is this, but once they got smacked like that, it was a wrap. Like they just didn't know how to respond. We'll start with you, Christian. Do you think if that happens, how do you think the players, but also the coaching staffs can respond?
I think they have the coaching staff and the players to respond to that. Like I said before, this group, they're seniors. And not only are they just seniors, they're not just seniors that didn't play and now they're getting their chance. These are guys that are as sophomores, they've been playing. They've been through a lot of those type of tough games. And I think that's kind of the difference, even compared to a team like Battlefield. Battlefield's really talented, really good. They have a lot of sophomores, a lot of young juniors on their team, kind of guys that, Battlefield's the last team to beat Freedom, but a lot of those kids weren't on that team that beat that Freedom. Right. This King George team, those playoff hard, gut-wrenching playoff losses they've taken the past 2 years. Chans, Mackay, those guys were on there. So I think that they'll try to, take that experience and try at least come back if they fall behind in a situation like that.
I want to frame it up for Skip, because we're going to ask him the same thing about how Phoebus would react, because Phoebus hasn't really been tested. The closest game was Warwick. The common opponent was Hampton. And
Oscar Smith.
Oscar Smith did the first
game.
That's
true. That's true. Good point. But this is a big play offense with some weapons, some Randy Moss-like high school players. Let's just say the King George comes out and strikes fast. Let's say they don't warm things up, get the flow. Let's just say, bam, they're up 7-0. Let's say Phoebus makes a couple of mistakes, which do happen, and they're up. Let's just say they're up 17-3.
Look, let's say it like this. What if they do to y'all what y'all did to Oscar Smith last year? Because that was
well, that's not going to happen.
No, but I'm saying. But listen to what I'm saying. Oscar Smith didn't know what hit him.
Right.
Coming off those 2 state championships, Oscar Smith was like, whoa. Right. And it was a wrap.
Skip, you'll appreciate this. Great programs and good coaching staffs. One of the best Phoebus teams ever in 2007 came up to Ashburn, and they came out and, man, they punched Stonebridge in the mouth. The skill players were going like rolling. Stonebridge countered and won that game. So my question is, Skip, what if they're like, oh, my God, this is an Under Armour All-American, this guy Chance Wiggins, and they're up. How are they going to react?
I think, the coaching staff, I know the coaching staff will handle it, because Coach Blunt, he'll rally the guys. Hey, look, we expected this. Now let's go out here and play Phoebus ball. Mm-hmm. I think with the kids, again, a lot of those kids were on that on that team that played Oscar Smith that got punched in the mouth that first time we went across the water. So they know what that feels like. They know how to handle adversity. I think they won't tuck their tails and run. They will fight. It's going to be a dogfight. Even if they do get up by 2 touchdowns, Phoebus will come back and at least it will tie it. If not, go ahead. They will fight, because that's what we do with Phoebus.
Okay. Y'all do fight. I remember that back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh, remember going to Chuck E. Cheese back in the day when it was a club?
Yeah. Yeah.
They shut it down because of fights, man.
Yeah, I know.
Man, I'm just joking, man.
I'm not going to mention no names, but yeah, I know.
Yeah. All right, man. It's all love, Skip. Hey, prediction time. Legit, like, they won't kick you out the family, Skip, if you say the Phoebus won't win. Who you got winning this game, and what's the score?
I think Phoebus is going to win, and I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be like a 31-27 score.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Be a great
it's not going to be, like we just had last week or the week before,
right?
Or that first round debacle that we. It's going to be a close game. They are going to score on us, but I think in the end, Phoebus will prevail.
Okay, that's cool. Cool.
31-27.
Okay.
Christian.
I think it's going to be a great game. I'm going to go ahead and say 24-21 King George.
Okay. All right. Kirk.
28-7 Phoebus. I think that King George has not faced a defense this good. And I think my key to the game is the psychological, is getting these Phoebus kids scared that King George can come in and beat them, and will. But I think these guys are battle tested, and I have a feeling that, King George is going to strike, and then Phoebus is going to shut them down. 28-7.
All right. Well, Kirk heard this last night. I think moving up to Class 4, clearly the first few rounds didn't make a difference, but at this level, I actually predicted King George would win the state championship last year. That didn't happen, but they also went up against a great Dinwiddie team. And much like last year, I think that the semis was like the championship. Kettle Run didn't pose as much of a threat. Not saying that Tuscarora and Salem can't, but I think this is it. But I think that this King George team is very motivated. They've already been on their revenge tour. I think they want to get in that championship game. And no, I love my Phantoms. I love my dad coached there. I'm from Hampton. I love the PD, but I really think that King George will win this game 28-21. Prove me wrong, guys.
Before we close, little tidbit for the folks in Roanoke County at Salem. I got a speeding ticket down there, and I had to go to court. So it's in Salem, Roanoke County, and people here in Leesburg. I will say this: whoever wins this game, and I'm predicting Phoebus, better reset, because that Salem team that should beat Tuscarora is going to be dangerous, and this could be a letdown. This is going to be a win for either team. That's Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, thank you guys for joining us. But before we get out of here, Skip, anything you want to promote? Anything you got going on? Any shout outs you want to give?
Like, just give a shout out to just all my Phoebus family. Come out and show out on Saturday at 12. We're going to need all the support. You know, we need to fill Darling Stadium up with nothing but blue and gold. And if you were green and gold, it's okay to don a little blue, put a little blue ribbon on.
I'm gonna go get my Letterman's jacket. It's gonna be all tight.
If you wore red and white, you know, it's okay to put on the blue. And if you wore that nasty green and white from down the street, that school, we call that school down the street.
Yeah.
They want to be at Phoebus anyway, so might as well come on out.
Kiko 10. All right. And then Christian, I want you to promote the things you're doing for 540 Sports and anything else you got going on, bro.
Yep. You can find my Twitter at 540 Athletes. That's the Twitter handle. You know, just trying to promote as many 540 players, athletes in this area as I can. Basketball season starts today, obviously, so I want to, you know, get around, start covering that a lot more. Obviously, football is my thing, but want to expand there and further on.
All right, cool. Thanks again for joining us, guys. I really appreciate it. Kirk, any last thoughts?
No, I'm looking forward to a game. I just will say this. On Twitter, Coach Lunsford gives us some love, follows us. We appreciate that. And all you other King George kids. And, you know, Mountain View, North Stafford and all that. The more we cover you guys, the more information we're going to get on you now that we have Christian as a resource. And we work the phones, man. We're calling people. We know about some injuries. You know, we know about things. And, you know, we're not just looking at records and things like that. So definitely follow us on Twitter at
teams with my heart. And so if I got a cousin that played there, I might have to go that way. Or if the name of the school is William Byrd or Rustburg, I got to go that way, man. And that's how I feel about this particular game. I don't know. No, hey, thanks again for joining us, guys. Look, this is great information. People, show Christian some love. 540. Let's get a lot of views on this. All right, to show people that y'all, we know the PD gonna represent, but let me see what 540 got. So look, for Christian, Skip, Kirk Hilliard, my co-host, this has been the Kirk and Byrd Show. We are out.